Plants speak an ancient language, vibrations that transcend the everyday. Edgar Cayce heard them clearly. His consciousness floated between worlds. His body, his mind pierced the veil of ordinary perception. Between 1901 and 1944, this humble Kentucky man, nicknamed the Sleeping Prophet, offered more than 14,000 documented readings that continue to fascinate health professionals and spiritual seekers today. What did he discover about the silent beings who share our homes? What if the plants we encounter daily held the key to harmonizing our fragmented souls? Close your eyes and imagine Virginia Beach in the 1930s. A modest wooden house stands near the sea, its windows open to the Atlantic breeze. Inside, Cayce sits on a simple couch, breathing rhythmically as he enters a trance. Today's questions focus on healing not only the body, but also the subtle energies that Cayce believed underlie our physical existence. The life force, his voice said, barely deeper than his nod, exists in different vibrations in all growing beings. Certain plants serve as conduits for the specific energetic qualities the human soul needs for balance. What did he mean by this enigmatic observation? When modern science was still far from documenting the bioelectric fields of plants, Cayce spoke of their consciousness not as a metaphor, but as a literal truth. The plant kingdom, he explained in a reading, has a different relationship to time and space than it does to humanity. Its consciousness, while not expressed through thought as we know it, manifests through vibrational signals that interact directly with human energy fields. Imagine, what if your soul, that immaterial essence that philosophers have debated for millennia, could be retuned like an out-of-tune instrument? What if certain plants, strategically placed in your environment, could facilitate this return? For Cayce, this wasn't just a theory. It was practical wisdom to be applied in everyday life. Let's begin by reviewing ancient purification rituals. As Cayce likely experienced them in a trance state, sacred smoke rises from boxes of dried serum held by Native American healers. According to Cayce, readings, 1258-31, the serum transmits the purification vibration, not only of the air, but also of the energetic imprints interacting in physical spaces. Long before modern research confirmed the antimicrobial properties of cerium, Cayce described its ability to regulate the vibrational field of environments where conflict, illness, or negative emotions accumulate. What happens when cerium smoke permeates the air in your home? According to Cayce's interpretations, the plant's essential oils released during combustion cause a temporary increase in the vibrational frequency, thus preventing lower energies from persisting. Just as increasing the power of a lamp dispels shadows, cerium brightens the energetic environment of your living space. However, Cayce added one element common to modern purging practices: intention. Sergio's effectiveness, he explained, is enhanced by the practitioner's conscious guidance. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt heavy or down without knowing why? Cayce suggested that emotional energy, especially when intense, leaves traces in our physical environment, traces that Sergio could help dissolve. In our quantum universe, where observation influences reality on a subatomic scale, is consciousness so relentless that the energetic properties of our living spaces can be affected? What limitations in your life might be amplified by the energies lurking within? Now follow the timeline of the lavender fields of Provence described by Cayce in his psychic journey through history. The monks who planted these plants, he noted in the 2457-3 reading, understood that the vibration of lavender resonated with the pineal gland, the third eye. This small gland, located in the center of the brain, produces melatonin and is associated in all cultures with intuitive perception. According to Cayce, lavender acts as a bridge between normal and expanded consciousness. Its gentle frequency soothes the analytical mind while stimulating mindfulness. For those who struggle with meditation, one researcher advises placing fresh lavender near their practice space or applying the oil to their temples before sitting. The plant's essence is also said to create a kind of energetic pathway between the left, logical, and right, intuitive hemispheres of the brain, promoting integration leading to spiritual awareness. Modern research has confirmed lavender's effect on glandular patterns, showing that a high alpha level is associated with a relaxed consciousness. But Cayce's vision went further. suggesting that lavender's influence extends to what he called the soul body, the energetic temple that connects physical existence to higher dimensions of consciousness. Have you ever noticed how certain scents can instantly transport you to childhood memories or altered states of consciousness? How might your spiritual practice change if you invited the ancient wisdom of lavender? Journey to ancient Egypt, where Cayce claimed to have lived as Prince Raytar during the construction of the Great Pyramid. In the healing temples of this era, he describes seeing aloe vera plants near the entrances. The plant of immortality, according to his interpretation, protects and heals both the physical body and the spiritual essence. Large aloe vera plants filled with water were considered reservoirs of vital energy, capable of absorbing toxins from the body and subtle fields. In a reading dating from 1206 to 1213, Cayce explained that aloe, not only because of its physical properties, but also because of its vibrational signal, absorbs anything that might harm the human life force. This energy-absorbing capacity, according to Cayce, makes aloe vera particularly valuable near computers, televisions, and other electronic devices that emit electromagnetic fields that can disrupt the human energy system. The ancient Egyptians displayed images of aloe vera on temple walls, not only as decoration but also as an energetic symbol that perpetuated the plant's protective function in a representative manner. Quantum physics suggests that information can be encoded in energy fields. Could the ancients understand this principle through direct perception rather than mathematical models? What electronic devices in your home might be subtly disrupting the harmonious functioning of your soul? If we travel back in time to Cayce's consciousness, we observe Hindu devotees growing holy basil, tulsi, in their gardens. This spiritually protective plant, as Cayce named it in reading 3823.1, creates a field of coherence that aligns human consciousness with higher principles. In Ayurvedic tradition, basil is considered a manifestation of the divine, feminine principle and embodies abundance and clarity. Cayce's interpretation suggests that basil's rapid growth and bounty reflect the universal principles of expansion and prosperity. Basil's vibration, he explains, resonates with the heart center while channeling spiritual energy through the source system. This dual effect creates a cycle of divine love, expressed in a form of integration that many seekers of the spiritual path find extremely difficult. The paradox of spiritual growth often lies in the reconciliation of material existence and transcendental consciousness. According to Cayce, the basilisk inherently hinders this reconciliation. Located near food preparation areas, its purpose was to infuse food with spiritual vitality. Situated near entrances, it created a transition zone that helped residents maintain a higher level of consciousness as they moved between public and private spaces. Could simply growing basil in the kitchen be a way to bridge the artificial gap between daily tasks and spiritual practice? Now imagine the serene atmosphere of a Japanese garden as Cayce's consciousness perceived it in time and space. Luminous peace lilies float above the dark charms, their elegant blooms bursting from glossy green leaves. Discovered by Cayce in 5648, the peace lily embodies the vibration of a balanced relationship, the harmonious flow of giving and receiving that characterizes spiritual maturity. In the principles of feng shui, to which Cayce frequently referred but did not name it, the peace lily is associated with the element of water and represents depth, intuition, and fluidity. Its ability to resist darkness symbolizes the recognition of life's trials. Leave the peace leaf. Cayce advised a troubled family where discord had arisen, for its presence facilitates the resolution of unspoken conflicts between souls. Modern research confirms this plant's remarkable ability to remove toxins from indoor air. However, Cayce observed a similar effect on emotional and spiritual levels. Just as the peace leaf transforms chemical toxins into useless compounds, it is said to transform emotional discord into potential for growth. If your home environment is a source of unexpected tension or conflict, can the serene presence of the peace leaf help catalyze the communication necessary for their resolution? Our journey through Cayce's visions continues to the sun-drenched Mediterranean mountains, where wild rosemary grows its aromatic oils wafting in every breeze. Cayce called it the herb of memory, referring to ancient Greek students who used rosemary during examinations. But memory, Cayce said, goes beyond mere facts and figures. Rosemary, he added, stimulates the soul to remember its true nature and purpose. This concept of spiritual amnesia, the forgetting of our divine origin and purpose, appears repeatedly in Cayce's philosophy. The material world, with its sensory overload and constant distractions, was seen as a target of forgetfulness, obscuring our true nature. The purifying aroma of rosemary would temporarily penetrate this target and offer glimpses of an expanded consciousness. The essential oils produced by rosemary, Cayce explained, create connections between the conscious and superconscious minds. These connections, Cayce added, facilitate access to what he called soul memory, wisdom accumulated over multiple incarnations, generally located below the threshold of normal consciousness. Modern aromatherapy research shows that the scent of rosemary enhances memory and cognitive performance. However, Cayce's interpretations suggest a deeper recollection, a reconnection with one's spiritual identity. Have you ever experienced moments of unexpected clarity when your life purpose suddenly became illuminated? According to Cayce, rosemary can help create such moments by temporarily harmonizing different levels of consciousness. What forgotten aspects of your being can be rediscovered through this ancient object of memory? Our journey through time ends with the keystone plant, which has proudly stood guard in homes for centuries and across cultures. It is the guardian of sacred places. Cayce described it in a reading from 1901 to 1907 and how, through its unique spiritual chemistry, it transforms dense energies into life-giving forces. Unlike other plants, the keystone plant releases oxygen at night. Cayce associated this property with its ability to interact with spiritual energies during sleep. Its leaves were considered energetically important, creating barriers that lower vibrations could not easily penetrate. Cayce advised a physician, exhausted by his practice, to place the keystone plant in passageways between public and private spaces. Its presence helps prevent the absorption of other foreign energy patterns. This concept of energetic boundaries is as relevant today as it was in Cayce's time. In our interconnected world, where empaths often absorb the emotional states of those around them, the keystone plant offers a model for healthy differentiation. Its clearly defined leaves embody the balance of protection and openness that characterizes spiritual maturity. NASA studies on air purification have confirmed the extraordinary ability of this key plant to filter toxins from indoor spaces. However, Cayce saw this physical purification as only the visible aspect of its more subtle function, to create energetic coherence in spaces where disparate vibrations might otherwise create disharmony. Have you ever noticed that some environments are instantly calming, while others create inexplicable tension? Could the deliberate arrangement of key plants help you preserve your energetic sovereignty in challenging environments? By integrating these ideas across time and tradition, a more coherent understanding emerges. The 7 plants Cayce highlighted: sage, lavender, aloe vera, basalt, peace lily, rosemary, and keystone, each correspond to different aspects of spiritual harmony. Together they form what one reading described as a mandala of living consciousness, a sacred arrangement that promotes spiritual integration. Sage teaches purification, the letting go of that which no longer contributes to a higher expression. Lavender embodies the balance between awareness and wonder, necessary for spiritual exploration. Aloe vera represents protective love and the ability to absorb negativity without being affected by it. Basalt embodies the connection between spiritual abundance and material expression. The peace lily represents the harmonious relationship between opposing forces. Rosemary awakens memories of our true nature beyond temporal boundaries. The keystone plant represents the protective barriers that allow for authentic connection without energetic depletion. What Cayce emphasized in his readings was the conscious relationship between human beings and plants. The mere presence of these plants, he explained, creates a potential for harmony. But when approached with awareness and intention, their ability to support soul development multiplies exponentially. This perspective challenges the modern tendency to view plants as decorative, objects rather than conscious allies on our spiritual path. Consider this. What if the ancient animist perspective, which attributed consciousness to all living things, was not a primitive superstition, but a profound truth? What if the mechanistic perspective, which views plants as biological machines, represented not progress but oblivion? Recent research on plant communication, memory, and response suggests that the line between plant and animal consciousness may be much more fluid than previously believed. The Cayce readings consistently paint a picture of a universe permeated by consciousness, in which the differences between animals and inanimate beings represent distinctions of degree, rather than kind. From this perspective, working with plants is not about manipulating objects, but rather about collaborating with intelligent beings whose state of consciousness differs from our own. Talk to your plants, Cayce advised during one consultation, not out of superstition, but as a recognition of the consciousness that inhabits them. This understanding of plant consciousness laid the foundation for Cayce's approach to spiritual herbalism. Plants were viewed not only as tools, but also as teachers and allies on the path to wholeness. Their physical properties, whose medical applications are constantly confirmed by modern science, were seen as an expression of their spiritual essence, rather than the product of random evolution. If you want to incorporate these 7 harmonizing plants into your environment, Cayce recommends approaching them with respect, not purely utilitarian intentions. Ask permission before feeding them, advises one reading. Express gratitude for their presence and support. The relationship between humans and plants should be a mutual gift. How would your experience change if you viewed plants as conscious beings rather than decorative objects? How would your home be different if plants were perceived as spiritual teachers rather than mere accessories? The answers lie not in intellectual speculation, but in direct experience, in the knowledge that comes from relationships, not analysis. In our technology-saturated world, where artificial environments increasingly separate us from the living intelligence of nature, Cayce's plant wisdom offers a path to reconnection. These 7 plants, accessible to almost everyone, regardless of their circumstances, open the door to a more conscious relationship with the plant kingdom. Through them, we can rediscover what indigenous cultures have never forgotten. We exist within a living web of intelligence, where the boundaries between species serve not as walls, but as membranes of exchange. As you journey with these plant allies, you will participate in a tradition that spans human history. From ancient temple gardens to modern living spaces, the forms may change, but the essential relationship remains. Humans and plants grow together, each according to their own nature, and each supports the expression of the other's divine consciousness. This alliance is the profound key to the harmony of the human soul, not through spectacular interventions, but through the serene and constant presence of the green wisdom that has accompanied humanity since its beginnings. What forgotten aspects of yourself might awaken in the presence of these ancient master plants? What harmonies might emerge when their vibrations interact with your own? The answers await you in the living laboratory of your home, where these 7 spiritual allies stand ready to accompany you in the great work of soul evolution, to whose illumination Edgar Cayce dedicated his life.